Well, hi guys. I want to thank you for joining me on today's webinar. This is going to be part of an ongoing online marketing training update session. My intention is to keep these webinars short, sweet, to the point, and then make myself available to answer your questions and let you pick my brain and get your most pressing questions answered. So I see we have a number of people on the call. I do want this to be interactive. I want you guys to be able to send your question in on the question box or raise your hand and speak live if you have either called in or if you have your speakers where there's a microphone on your computer. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. Steve Luttrell has a question. It's just saying, hey, Steve, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you being so active on these sessions and for joining as often as you do. So thanks for your shout out there, and I look forward to answering some of your questions at the end. We're going to start in just a few minutes. We have a lot of people registered, so I want to give everyone a chance to get on, but we're going to be respectful of your time, so we'll start as quickly as possible. In the meantime, I just want to test something here. There's the ability for me to send out a poll. So I'm going to send this poll out. So you guys should see a question that you can answer. Just give me some insights on what you'd like to see covered on these sessions. We can get as abstract as we want. I mean, talking about most commonly searched keywords, pay-per-click marketing strategies, how to merge your Google Places and Google Plus local listings. So just chime in, let me know what you're interested in. That way I can gear these sessions towards what's most interesting to you guys. All right. Interesting. Okay, so a little less than half of you said you're interested in Google Places and how to merge your Google Places and your Google Plus listing. The majority were interested in on-page optimization components, so how to optimize the title tags, the H1 tags. So I'll definitely be covering both of those topics in the coming weeks. Again, we're going to be talking about Google authorship, how to set up Google authorship, what it is, why it's important. This is a live interactive call, so if you have questions, enter them in on the question box or raise your hand and I'll be able to unmute you. And Steve has another question. Can this information be viewed at a later date? Yeah, actually, I'm going to be giving you guys some additional resources where you can watch this webinar again if you need to, as well as some step-by-step instructions so you can go ahead and implement this on your own. So, Steve, good question. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let's talk about what Google authorship is, why it's important, how you can get it set up. So have you ever run a search on Google and, let's say it was just your city plus plumber, your city plus plumbing, your city plus HVAC repair, and notice that certain companies in their results have a picture next to their website listing. So there's a picture instead of just a link like you might have. And if you've seen that and wondered, man, why in the world do they have that set up? Why don't I have it? And how do I get it going for my company? That's the exact topic of this webinar. It's how you can set up authorship, which is that exact thing where your face shows up in the search results. A little more technical explanation of what it is. It's a way for Google to show within the search who's the author of the content on a specific page. Then the result shows a headshot of the author, a link to his Google Plus profile, and the number of Google Plus circles the author's in, and the link to more search results for this specific author. So it's pretty cool. It's something really innovative that Google's done with their search algorithm and with their results page. Chase has a question. Let me make sure. Oh, good. Thank you, Chase. I went ahead and closed that. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Awesome. And so I know the question box working. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So why is it important? Other than the obvious, it's going to make your listing jump off the page. It's going to have more real estate and more apt to get clicked. It gives you more credibility. You look like a more credible player because of the fact that you do have that face shot and a Google Plus profile listed with it. And there are other benefits, like you have additional stats within your Webmaster Tools account that gives you more visibility. But again, I mean, the real thing that's clear and obvious is it makes your listing jump off the page. If we type in Tampa Plumber and we look at the results that show up, obviously the two listings that have authorship set up, which are Red Cap Plumbing and the Clean Plumbers, those listings they have more real estate. They are more apt to get clicked. Again, if we do it in Orlando, same thing, and San Mateo. And so it's obvious that having a face or a picture associated with your listing makes you more attractive to potential searchers. So how do we set this up? What's the actual process? Well, there are really three key steps to setting up authorship. The first one is to have a Google Plus local profile. I'm going to walk you through this in more depth throughout the course of this quick interactive session. Google Plus is just Google's answer to Facebook. And so they created their own social media platform. If you set up a Google Plus profile, that's where you'd be able to upload your photo shot and then set up the authorship. The next step is to add a contributor link to your Google Plus to your Google Plus profile, just letting Google know that your website is yours. And then you add a piece of code to your website that indicates that it's yours. And so I'm going to be walking through that with you throughout that process. And Michael Burrows has a question. Michael, thanks for joining us. I guess you're asking if this is relevant in the UK as well. And to my knowledge, it is. I mean, the same process rings true. I mean, set up authorship, and you should see the same face shots next to the results page. So, Michael, I hope that answers your question. So step one in this process of setting up authorship is to set up your Google Plus profile. And to set up a Google Plus profile, you would just go to google.com/plus, and you get to a screen that looks like this. It's going to ask you to log in, and so you have the option to log in with an existing Gmail account or create a brand new account. I'm going to suggest if you have an existing account, you want to use that for setting up your authorship, for setting up your Google Plus listing. It's really ideal if you used Google, if you use the same Google account that was used to set up your Google Plus local. So if you think about Google Maps, Google Places, setting up authorship, you want to tie it to that same listing. And so if you know the Google account that was used to set that up, that's the account that you really want to use to set up your authorship. Doesn't have to be, but it's really a good way to do it. The other real important thing is you have to upload a headshot. And so in some cases we see when you're inside your Google Plus page, and this is your personal Google Plus listing, up here in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be a photograph. And it should be your headshot. Can't be a logo, can't be a van. If you use a logo or a van, Google's not going to recognize that as an author. They're looking for a headshot. They're looking for an individual. And so you definitely want to use a headshot like this as opposed to a logo, a picture of your van, or a picture of your team. Steve says, my screens still aren't changing. Should be changing. So if you could chime back in and let me know if you're seeing progression on my slides. If not, let me know as well so that I can look into that for you. But so you want to go in here, you want to set up your profile page. You do that by just going into your, if you were inside your Google Plus, google.com/plus, you click on this picture and it would bring up another dialog box that says change picture. You'd click that and you can upload literally any image you want. Again, Google for authorship is looking for a headshot. They have facial recognition software. So if you have a logo like the one represented up here, it's going to discount it and it's not going to let it show up in the SERPs like I was showing you before. Once you've got that going and you've got your headshot, the next thing you need to do is let Google know that you're a contributor to this specific website or to your actual website. And so you do that by going still within Google Plus. Very simply, you would go over here to the profile section. You click About, and under About, you have the ability to put all kinds of information about who you are, where you work. Kind of like with Facebook, you have all this information that you can put. Well, in this case, what we want to do within About is we want to scroll down to the bottom right-hand corner. There's a thing called Links. And there you can put links to your Facebook page. You can put links to your Twitter account. You can put links to all kinds of things. But we want to focus specifically on this area that says contributor link, that says contributor to. And so you would hit the edit button down at the bottom, and you would add your link to your website. So that would be yourcompany.com, and then put a description, which probably should just be your company name. And from there, when you press save, you'll see within your Google Plus listing a contributor to link. And this is how Google's able to see that you're the contributor to your specific website. Again, all of this is working towards setting up authorship so that your face will show up next to your search results in Google search. Once you've got that set up, the next step is just to add a piece of code to your website and to the pages on your website. And so the code is this one that I have down here. It's link rel equals author herf equals, and then this specific code. And I'm going to give you a link after the meeting or after this session where you can go, you can copy this directly, send it off to whoever you need to send it off to get it added to your website. This piece of code was going to go into the header section on your website, so it doesn't go on the body. It goes in the header, which is the same area where you would probably have your Google Analytics tracking script. If you have live chat on your website, a live chat script. And it's just a piece of code that now Google can read behind the scenes and connect your Google Plus profile to this website. And if you're doing it yourself, it should be, it's just as easy as going into the HTML, putting this into the header section. If you have a web developer, a web designer that you work with that is helping with your website, you can just take this piece of code, obviously changed out the X's for your specific Google Plus number, and then have them drop that into the website for you. And the place where you find that number is within your Google Plus page. So you're just logged into google.com/plus with whatever username and password you set up. Up along the top, there's this URL, and this URL is your Google Plus page. You want to take those numbers, whatever they are, and drop them into this piece of code where these X's are. Add that to the header of your site, and now you've completed the process for setting up authorship. The only other thing that I want you to do and that you should do is to test the settings. And so Google's giving you a very easy way to go to a website, drop in a URL, your website address, and verify that authorship has been configured correctly. And so you do that by going to google.com/webmaster/tools/rich snippet. And when you go there, you can put in pretty much any website address, and it will show you how Google's seeing that and whether it's picking up the rich snippets. Rich snippets being things like those pieces of code I was showing you before. And so if you did it right, you'd go up to that top where it says enter your URL. You press the preview button. If you did it right, you're going to see your website address with any rich snippets that Google's recognizing, picture of your face, and of course more by you, which would be a link back to your Google Plus page and to the various pages that you're actually contributing to. And down below that, again, it's a direct link to your Google Plus local page. And so this rich snippet really makes it very easy for you to follow this process from beginning to end. And so just to recap, relatively quickly, you go to google.com/plus, you enter your username and password, you upload a headshot, then you go to the contributor section, you add a link as a contributor back to your website, you go to your website and you enter this simple piece of code, this authorship code, into the header section on the site, and then you go to the rich snippet tester tool, And if you've done it right, your authorship will be set up. And so it's really as simple as that. And, like I promised, this session's live. You have access to me to ask your questions about this specific topic and other topics that are of interest to you. My goal on these sessions is really to be quick, efficient, get to the point, and move on. So take less than 10 or 15 minutes of your time, show you something very specific that you can implement in your business, and then open it up for questions. And so I hope you found value from this. There's a number of people on the webinar. Some of you came halfway through. And so there's going to be a section that you can go to called plumberseo.net/authorship that gives you step-by-step instructions, screen captures, really makes it easy for you to follow this process. But now I want to open up for questions. Let's start, if you could, any questions that you have specific to authorship. And then, we can open it up from there. If you have questions about any of the other topics that I cover in our book, The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors, the webinars that we conduct, the training information that's in our guide, feel free. The line is open. I know I have a number of you here. So you can either type in your question into the question box, or you can raise your hand and I can unmute you and we can talk live. Austin's got a question. Does authorship apply for SEO and Google Maps? Does it apply? So how does it apply? I mean, it does to a certain extent. Google's not, ever giving you specifically, companies that have authorship have a better probability of showing up anywhere. What we are seeing is Google's looking at the credibility of the author. So if you, as the author, have a Google Plus local listing, and you're a Google listing, and your Google listing shows that you have 3 people in your circle, that's not going to carry as much credibility as somebody that has 500 people in their circles. And so circles are just like on Facebook. You've got friends. In Google Plus, you have circles and people that are within your circles. So having a lot of individuals that are legitimate people in your circles gives you more credibility. I think that it does sort of apply to Google Maps, because what we're seeing is if you have the Google Plus listing tied to the same listing that was used to claim your Google Plus local or your Google Maps listing, now you can start to see that picture as it correlates to your Google Map listing. So good question, Austin. I appreciate that, and I hope that answers your question on that specific topic. If not, shoot me another follow-up, and I'll answer it. What else? What other questions do you guys have? I'll stay on the line here for another couple minutes. I hope that you guys were able to get value from this. You can definitely go to plumberseo.net/authorship to get the step-by-step instructions on how to do this. I'm here for your questions. So you can either raise your hand or you can send in a question on the question box. Austin's asking if it's the end of the webinar. Yeah. I mean, I as I said, the whole point of this is really to be quick, be efficient, show you something very specific that you can sink your teeth into and implement. And so, yeah, that's really all there is on this specific topic. Okay, good. So you guys can now start to ask your questions outside of this authorship part. Austin has a follow-up question, and it is, if I have questions about Yelp and Google, yeah, shoot, Austin, that's what we're here for. Ask me any questions that you have, and I will do my best to answer them. Steve says, once again, Josh, thanks for the time. Very helpful. Take care. Thank you, Steve. I hope you're able to do this on your website, and I hope that these resources are helpful. All right, so Austin has a question about Google ranking. Why is Google ranking Yelp sites in the first part of the organic listing much more than other sites? The Google algorithm is constantly changing, and I've seen that too sometimes where the Yelp listings are ranking for a specific company. And it all comes down to authority and what Google appears to be an authority listing for a specific search. So if you type in, and I think I even have an example of what you're talking about. Oops. I have an example of what you're talking about in a previous slide. Well, hello, this is Josh Nelson with Plumber SEO and the Plumbing and HVAC Online Dominance Blueprint. Hang on, guys. I got to figure out where that's playing from. The very important process of merging your Google Places listing, your old Google Maps listing, with the new Google Plus local listing. There's been a transition over the last... All right, I think I isolated it. Okay, let me find that spot for you. Let me just pull up a live search. It'll be easier. All right, so we typed in San Mateo Plumber. This is a company in San Mateo, and you'll see the first listing is a Yelp listing. And so the reason this listing is showing up before, two Yelp listings before the organic listings is simply because Google believes that that's the most authoritative listing for that search. Yelp's a strong domain. It's got lots of links. It's got lots of relevance. And so that's why in this case, you're going to start to see more Yelp listings, potentially in the future, maybe more Yellow Page listings showing up in the organic listings. So, follow-up question to that: does this have to do with reviews and social signals? So reviews and social signals typically are gonna have the biggest impact here in the map listings, especially reviews and citations. When it comes to these organic listings, Google still has an algorithm that ties back to how many links the website has, how relevant it is. You can see based on the rich snippets on the page, Google's pulling in star review ratings. They've got 64 reviews. And so that's really, that's why these Yelp listings are ranking so well. So Chase, good questions. Austin, I hope this answers your questions here. Rich, thanks for joining us on the webinar. Let's see, you got a question. Besides SEO and PPC, what other internet advertising can be done? And is Google Plus listing still something you do for me as a customer? So Rich is one of our customers in the Oklahoma City market. Besides SEO and PPC, the other things that you can look at are paid directory listings. And so Austin was just asking a question about Yelp and how Yelp is starting to show up pretty prominently. Yelp is one of those online directories that has eyeballs, and it really matters on a city-by-city basis. But in some cases, if Yelp is prominent in that city, in some cases it does make sense to have a paid ad on like a Yelp.com. Additionally, the other one that is pretty popular is Angies List. And I would think in your area, this would be a smart play if we're not already having a paid advertising listing inside of Angie's List. The customers pay a premium in order to have access to the contractors that are on Angie's List. In our experience talking with plumbing and HVAC contractors throughout the United States, we're finding that Angie's List is a great source of quality customers. So that's something you might want to look at. There are other strategies that I tend to like less, but strategies like pay-per-lead services, and some of the pay-per-lead services are Home Advisor, which was formerly ServiceMagic, where you can set up an account, you can pick the types of services that you want to attract, and then as they send you leads, you pay on a per-lead basis. But really, I feel like if you're thinking about an online marketing strategy as a whole, the foundation should be organic, making sure the website's set up correctly, making sure that you're ranking well on the organic listings, making sure that your conversion is set up right. From there, you got to look at the SEO piece. Are you ranking well in the organic listings? And then you can start to look at social media play, so leveraging Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, getting active with email marketing to your existing customer base. And when you've got those components really well honed, then it makes sense to start to look at next level marketing. So pay-per-click advertising, paid listings in the online directories, and other plays like that. So, Rich, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on the call, and I hope that that answers that question. Looks like Austin's got a follow up. What about ranking videos in SEO organic listing results? Um, okay, so video marketing, and that's one of the topics we can cover in depth on one of the upcoming sessions. But you can create a video, name it in a strategic way, get some strategic likes for it, and start to see that video rank in organic results. And so I'll see if I can pull up an example of this. And it varies because Google doesn't always. Here's an example of authorship. Doesn't always show the video results. But so I typed in Orlando repiping, and so it's typically your videos are going to rank for keywords that don't have a ton of search results, but it works great for high-end services like repiping, remodeling, where you know that the the transaction value is pretty high. And so I typed in Orlando repiping, and we can see right here is a actual video by Shamrock Plumbing about repiping. And this is a video that ranks. We can drill down to this page, and it's a video that talks about, hey, if you're thinking about repiping your home in Orlando, contact Shamrock Plumbing. And so getting your video ranked really comes down to a couple key things. The first is how you name the video. And so when this video is uploaded, it says Repipe Orlando, Repiping Home, and then the company name. Comes down to the description, which you definitely want to make sure it talks about the service, the area, and then has a citation for you that references your name, address, and phone number. And then, of course, having likes and having views for the video doesn't hurt. And so there's some ways that you can drive eyeballs to your videos so that you can get more and more of this happening for you where your videos rank in organic search. So, Austin, that's a good question. I think you should have a video for just about every one of your services. Save that video, upload it to YouTube, name it with your city plus whatever that service is, and then get all your friends to like it. And just over time, you might start to see that video show up in your search results. Good questions, Austin. I really appreciate you chiming in with these. It keeps the webinar very interactive. All right, we got some additional questions. Michael Burrows has a question. How do I drive eyeballs to our videos? Okay, so there's a couple ways to drive eyeballs to your videos. And so there are a number of video channels. Obviously, there's YouTube, there's Vimeo, there's MetaCafe. The primary engine that you want to upload your videos to is YouTube.com. And within YouTube, it's literally is just tied into your main Google account. And so you can go to Google, hit the upload button, select your file that you have. And I don't think these videos need to be super high end. You don't have to hire a production company. You can literally take out the iPhone, shoot a quick video. Hey, if you're thinking about having your water heater reinstalled in the Denver area, we specialize in water heater installation and repair, yada, yada, yada. Save, upload. Now you've got a video. You can name it with the right keywords. Driving eyeballs, one option is to send out an email to your customer base saying, hey, we just created a new video and we'd love for you to take a few minutes to check it out. There are some services where you can pay per view or pay to buy views that are available. I can send you an email after the fact with some of those that you can check out. But the best way is to get real eyeballs on it and real people watching those videos. So good question. I hope that answers the question. Austin asks, would it be tacky to make a video from my cell phone? No, not at all. The video I showed you a couple seconds ago for Shamrock Plumbing, Orlando repiping, and he's done a lot of these types of videos, actually was shot from an Android phone. And so I've got an Android Note 2. I don't know if you've got an iPhone or what you use, but simple video from the iPhone. Try and set it up on a tripod so it's nice and stable. Make sure you're close enough that the sound and the audio is clear. One big problem is if the audio is bad, the video is going to be bad. But yeah, if you want to get some examples of the types of videos you could shoot, and get some traction with, run a search for Shamrock Plumbing, drill down into his page, and you'll see he's followed our strategy to the T, where we've got videos for each of his cities and his main services. So that's a great question. Yeah, don't be over concerned with the production value of the videos. Just create the content and get it online. So Austin, I hope that answers your question about the tackiness. Well, we're about to hit the 30-minute mark. I hope I've delivered on my promise of keeping this video nice and short, really getting to a very specific item that you can implement in your plumbing or HVAC business right away. If you have any other questions, I'm still here, but we're going about 30 minutes deep. We've had some really good questions and some good interaction. Any last-minute questions, feel free to type them in or to raise your hand, and I will address them right away. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. Thank you, guys. It was a great attended webinar today. I really appreciate you guys joining us. I will be conducting an ongoing series of these webinars, so look at your emails. I will be sending another email out about another very specific topic that we'll be covering. And I appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. You too, Steve. I appreciate that. You have a great weekend.